Hi guys, welcome to another live stream. Hope you all had a nice Christmas, and I'd like to wish you all a very happy New Year. So hope you got some great presents for Christmas, some good movies. I certainly did. I brought a box set up with me actually. I'm going to talk about it later on and show it. So it's great to be back after a couple of weeks absence. And as I say, I hope you all had a nice time. Had a good holiday, and I hope 2023 brings you all everything you desire. Okay then guys, so without further ado, we'll just get into the comments. Just bear with me a second. Right, Fazbear Brothers is here. Hi Alan, hope you're doing well. Happy New Year, and a very happy New Year to you. Yeah, nice to see you. Thanks for dropping by. Brian's here. Hi Alan, how are you? Happy New Year. I'm good, thanks Brian. Yeah, happy New Year to you. Yeah, hope you had a nice time. Yeah, good to be back, as I say, after an absence of a couple of weeks. So got quite a few movies, for Christmas and that. But as I say, I bought a box set up here. I'm going to talk about it later on. So So I've just been watching any good movies lately, any ones you could recommend. I was very pleased with Smile. I thought it was very, very good, really good movie. And I'm going to watch it again, actually, with the commentary on. So I really enjoyed it. Yeah, quite original and that, it was quite an original horror movie. So I was very pleased with Smile. So we're just waiting for a couple more people to come into the room, guys. So I got a couple of horror books as well. So made up with them, all about the movies and that. So really made up. Right, comments are coming in now. Gerard is a movie fan. Hello, Alan. Best wishes for 2023. Same to you, mate. That the collection may get much bigger than in 2022. Yeah, well, yeah, I'm actually running out of shelf space at the moment. So I've got to look towards get myself some more shelves, to accommodate my ever growing movie collection. So I said this before though. The thing is with me, I've got no patience with DIY building shelves and things like that. Got no patience whatsoever. So I'm on the lookout for a good ready-made shelf, so once I find that, I'll be able to sort of spread all my movies out, and once I've done that, I'll do a video showing off all my horror collection. So Brian Gilson's here. The Terrifier looks good, but I've heard it's really gory. You're talking about Terrifier 2, Brian. It was okay. It was very, very brutal. Really brutal. Particularly one scene, which I'm not going to go into if you haven't seen the movie. I preferred the first Terrifier, to be quite honest with you. It was okay, Terrifier 2, but I didn't like the ending though. They could have tweaked the storyline a bit more to improve that ending, because I thought the end was a bit, cheesy, but I loved the first Terrifier, and if they make it Terrifier 3, I'm not really looking forward to that after being disappointed with Terrifier 2. Yeah, they started making him like Freddy Krueger, and making him a bit comedic and that, putting them in this kids show and that, and I thought that was a bit corny. So they missed opportunity there, I think, with Terrifier 2. But although I do like the character Art the Clown, but if they're going to start giving him comedic elements, injecting them into his character, I don't think I'll be watching any more Art the Clown outings. True action star of the Dales. Evening, Alan. You okay? Thanks for dropping by. Happy New Year. Loved you on Playtendo Guy stream last night. Oh, thanks very much. Yeah, it's always a pleasure to go on Pete's live streams. Yeah, very nice guy. He's got a great channel, and all the guys and that, very nice to talk to them again and make a couple of new acquaintances. And as I say, I love going on Pete's channel. He does a real good live stream. Yeah, so I enjoyed myself last night. Andy likes Stuff channel. Hi Alan, you okay, Andy? Happy New Year. Watched you on Pete's channel yesterday and just subbed. Oh, thanks very much, Andy. Appreciate it. Yeah. Thanks for the interest. Yeah. As I say, yeah. Pete's live streams, they're always good, and that, you know, he the people who he has, putting the comments, they broach some very, very interesting subjects, you know, and yeah, it was great to be back on his channel again. In a couple of weeks' time, I hope to maybe give another invite onto mine, and maybe a couple of other people in that, you know. So yeah, so watch this space. Sam KA is saying, hey up, Alan, hope you're all good. Happy New Year, and a very happy New Year to you as well, Sam. Yeah, hope you had a nice Christmas as well. Currently making my way through the original Ring Collection Arrow box set. You've seen these? I've got them, yeah. The white box, yeah, I haven't watched them yet. I like both, actually. I like I've seen the first Ring, the Japanese one, and I've seen the two with Naomi Watts in. But yeah, I've got that Arrow white box set, so I'm looking forward to watching them. I've got the Grudge as well. I treated myself to the Grudge for Christmas now, so I'm looking forward to watching them as well. Yeah, there's something about in my opinion, there's something about those foreign horror movies that are quite disturbing, especially those Japanese, Korean ones. Yeah, I tell you a good one I can recommend, guys. A Korean one is one called A Cat. Very, very creepy story. Yeah, I won't tell you what it's about, but I just got the Blu-ray of it. I did watch it on DVD, and I upgraded to the Blu-ray. It was on Amazon Germany, but yeah, very, very well done movie, The Cat. So watch out for that one. Right, so scrolling down, guys. Yeah, so yes, as I say, yeah, I got a pretty good haul for Christmas, you know, in terms of horror movies and that. And I made up with me Abbott and Costello box set as well. I've got all the movies what they did for Universal. And I've also got the Abbott and Costello TV show season 1. So I watched one of the episodes tonight, and the picture quality is absolutely pristine. You know, it really is. You know, so if you're an Abbott and Costello fan, I'd highly recommend you get the Abbott Costello Blu-ray box set. Michael's here. You okay, Michael? It was nice to talk to you last night, yeah. And thanks for the sub. I'll reciprocate it as well, yeah. Yeah, very nice to speak to you. Yeah, thanks for dropping by. Hi, Alan. Hope you are well. Yeah, I'm not too bad, thanks, Michael. Yeah, as I say, yeah, it was nice to speak to you last night. Yeah, I really enjoyed the live stream last night on Pete's channel. Brian's here. You okay, Bri? Have you seen the one Missed Call films from Japan? They are good. Now, it's funny you should mention that, Brian, because I picked the box set up. Where was it? Was it HMV? I think it was HMV. I picked the box set up, and I was going to get them, but I put them down again, you know, because I've heard mixed things about them. So I might actually, next time I'm in HMV, I might give them a whirl and see what they're like. Or you saying they're good, like, so yeah. I'll have to give them a whirl. Yeah, thanks for that, Bri. Gerard saying, have you seen the Renfield trailer with Nicolas Cage? No, haven't seen it, Gerard. Nicholas Hulse, I like it. Different view of points in story. Yeah, that was the character that was in Dracula, wasn't it? The guy in the asylum that was eating the flies. Yeah, Renfield. No, I haven't seen it, Gerard. I'll have to check that one out. Sam KA is asking me, how long are you going to be on for tonight, Alan? Well, it's usually, Sam, I usually make around about 2 hours, because I think that's just about right, you know, for the live streams I do. But if I find it's going well, I'm enjoying it, I might stay on an extra half hour, but I don't usually go on any longer than 2.5 hours at the latest. So yeah, it most probably be about 10 o'clock. But as I say, you know, if it's going well and I'm enjoying it and that, you know, I might stay on till a bit longer. You know, it depends on how many people come into the room and start answering questions and that. So yeah. Andy likes Stuff Channel. What are your thoughts on the recent Scream films? Personally, wasn't keen on Scream 4, but thought 5 was rather good, and there's another Scream film coming out this year. I'm not really a huge fan, to tell you the truth, Andy. I'm not really a huge fan of the Scream franchise. I like the first couple and that, but after that, they went a bit meh. You know, Just like basically like the Nightmare on Elm Street movies, you know, after the first 2 or 3, they went right downhill. But I'm not really an avid fan of the Scream movies. The last one I didn't like at all. You know, I sold that on eBay. This one, I don't really know, this upcoming one, I don't really know too much about it, to be honest with you. But yeah, I'm not really, it's not really a movie that's sort of like high, you know, in my to watch list. Okay, Michael, what's your favourite comedy horror movie? My favourite comedy horror movie, well, it's a very, very close thing, actually. It's Abbott and Costello meet Frankenstein from 1948 and American Werewolf in London from 1981. They're my 2 all-time favourites horror comedy movies, Michael. What I liked about them, they got the balance of horror and comedy just right. You know, they weren't too silly. And as a sort of like the monsters played it for real, you know, and as I say, Lon Chaney Jr., Lon Chaney Jr. played the Wolfman in Abbott and Costello meet Frankenstein. Glenn Strange played Frankenstein monster, and you got Bela Lugosi back as Dracula. So the monsters played it straight. So they got the balance right, they got the comedy element right, and they got the monster spot on. Same thing with American Werewolf in London. Again, they got the horror right, the balance right between the horror and the comedy elements, which I think all goes to make a perfect horror comedy movie. A lot of the horror comedy movies that have been made the last couple of years, and going back to even I'd say the 1990s and that, you know, I haven't really been a fan of, like, so the Scary Movie franchise. I'm not really a huge fan of them. But yeah, they're me number ones. Oh, if you wanted a third one, Michael, I would say Dance of the Vampires with Sharon Tate and Roman Polanski. I love that movie. Yeah, it's a kind of a spoof on the Hammer. You know, the Hammer horror movies. I absolutely love that one, Dance of the Vampires. And I hope to do a full-length, in-depth review of that sometime early in the new year. So yeah, so they're me 3. Abbott and Costello meet Frankenstein, American Werewolf in London, and Dance of the Vampires, also known as Pardon Me, But Your Teeth Are in My Neck. Yeah, so, oh yeah, fantastic movies. Sam K.A. doesn't seem to have a comment there. Right, true action star of the days. Thoughts of Star Trek First Contact. I'm not a fan of Star Trek. The only Star Treks I've watched are the ones with William Shatner in, you know, from the 1960s, and Leonard Nimoy, the TV series. After that, I'm not really a fan of the Star Trek franchise. I didn't even watch the Patrick Stewart ones. So yeah, I'm not really a huge Star Trek fan. Brian Gilson, did you enjoy Eat Locals? This is one of my favourite horror comedies. Yeah, I have to say, Brian, I have to be honest with you, I was a little bit disappointed with that. Yeah, I tried to get into it, unfortunately, in that, but it just didn't do anything for me, unfortunately. But thanks very much, Brian. Anyway, you know, really appreciate it. Hope you had a nice holiday as well. You get them like that, don't you? Every now and then, you know, these sort of like, they look good, these movies, and when you watch them, they prove to be, quite disappointing. One of those things, isn't it? True action star of the day is Alan. There's like a noise in the background, sounds like a bird, mate. Oh, right. A bird. There's no birds in here, mate. I thought you were going to say then, is it a bird? Is it a plane? No, it's Alan Scouser. Hang on. No. It's just the telly's on downstairs. Mum's watching the telly downstairs, or apart from that, there's nothing else I can conceivably think of that could make a noise like a bird. Richard Brown recently bought and watched The Indicator, Norman J. Warren Blu-rays. Really enjoyed them. Yeah, I've got them. They're good, Richard. Have you seen any? Satan's Slave? Yeah, Prater. I've got all them. They're great. Yeah, one of my favourite box sets, actually. I bought it a couple of years ago. Yeah, I love those movies, Norman J. Warren. Yeah, a complete contrast to the this guy here, his movies. But I'll talk about him later. Ray Dennis Steckler. Yeah, I'll talk about this later on. Talk about a major disappointment. Sam K.A. Have you seen Tucker and Dale versus Evil? One of the best comedy horrors of all time. I think I've seen bits of that. I don't think I've seen it right through, Sam. Yeah, so I can't really comment on that one, unfortunately. Andy likes Stuff Channel. Did you watch Werewolf by Night that was on Disney last year? No, I didn't see that one, Andy. I see. For me, it felt like a cheap rip-off of the original Universal monsters. It most probably is, yeah. I found that when you do these sorts of like remakes of the Universal monsters, they fall completely flat on their face. You know, the likes of Van Helsing and the remake of the Wolfman, it was all right, but not to write home about. I think they should leave the Universal monsters well alone and not touch them. You know, I did get the when you're talking about Werewolf by Night, Andy, I did get the when I was a kid, well, growing up in the 70s, I used to get the Werewolf by Night Marvel. The Marvel comics and the Dracula Lives and Tomb of Dracula Marvel series as well. Yeah, I did quite like those comics, actually. Yeah, I was a huge comic buff when I was young. I bought all the horror comics. I bought Dracula Lives, Werewolf by Night, Monster Whale, Famous Monsters of Film Land with Forrest J. Ackerman, my favourite, one of my favourite magazine producers. I bought the creepy comics. I bought the eerie comics, you know, the Warren comics. So I loved all that. The Witching Hour, that was a good one. DC. I'm hoping to do a full-length video at some time in the new year, saying about all the horror comics that I grew up with. I mustn't forget the Hammer ones as well. The House of Hammer that started in 1976. They were fantastic. Them. Oh yeah, I used to love me horror comics. I still love me. I love me horror magazines now. I get the Dark Side magazine every month. You know, Alan Bryce, the editor, he does a fantastic job on that magazine. I get the Dark Side. That's my number one horror to go to magazine, the Dark Side, and he published quite a few good specials as well. You know, slasher movies and that, 70s horror movies, because I've got them all. Yeah, absolutely loved the Dark Side. Right. Cinema Chaos is saying, evening, Alan. Hope you're doing okay. You okay? Cinema Chaos. Yeah, I'm fine. Thanks. I hope you had a nice. I hope you had a nice Christmas, and wish you all the best for the new year. Yeah. Thanks for stopping by. Pete here. You're right, Pete. Yeah, I enjoyed it last night on your live stream. Yeah, thanks very much for inviting me on. Yeah, evening, Alan. Hope you're well. Yeah, I'm not too bad. Thanks, Pete. Hope you are as well. Thanks for joining the stream last night. Always a pleasure, mate. Yeah, I always look forward to going on your streams. Yeah, and the guys and that, talking to the guys. Yeah, some interesting subject as well that were broached. Yeah. So thanks again, mate. Yeah, I enjoyed it, and thanks for stopping by tonight. Nice to see you again. Right, true action star of the Dales. Hey, Mel Gibson, also known as Placendo guy, mate. Mel Gibson, double identity. True action star of the Dales. That incredibly strange film's box set. Is that Dan's Man Cave on the front cover? Dan's Man Cave. I don't know, mate. Oh, I know what you mean. You think that he... Oh, yeah, the guy... Yeah, I know what you mean now. Dan's Man Cave, yeah. He does look a bit like him. Yeah, he does, yeah. Come to think of it, yeah. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, Ray Dennis Steckler. Yeah, he's kind of a guerrilla filmmaker. He made all these low-budget movies and that, in the 60s and 70s and 80s, yeah. But I'll talk about this a bit later on, and give him my thoughts on it. Yeah, he does look like... Yeah, God, the more I look at it, the more I see what you mean, yeah. Yeah, Dan's Man Cave, yeah. Yeah, this is a good channel as well. Yeah, Dan's Man Cave. And they say everybody's got a double, don't they? Yeah. People often tell me I look like Elvis Presley. No, it's not. It's just a joke. It's really Clint Eastwood. I just look like myself. Pete's saying, hey, action star. Pete's saying again, nice to hear you. Enjoyed Smile. I enjoyed Smile immensely, Pete. Yeah, it was very, very good. Yeah, and I've kept it in my collection. And as I said before, at some point I'm going to watch it again with the commentary. Yeah. Oh yeah, it was very good. Yeah. Very enjoyable horror movie. Very well done. Good characters, And I like the mystery aspect as well to the entity. You didn't really know what it was, So yeah, really enjoyed Smile. Walk on, always believe is saying, watch it, Alan. You okay, mate? I'm very sorry for being late. Oh, don't worry about it, mate. I hope you are well. Yeah, I'm not too bad, thanks. Yeah, I just came back from Lidl to pick up a dehumidifier and water from Tesco. Speaking of Tesco, I saw Lenny Henry coming out from my local. Oh, you saw Lenny Henry? Did you not stop and get his autograph? I haven't seen him for a while on the telly, Lenny Henry. I remember him... the very first time I saw him, it was in that. Do you remember that series in 1976 set in Liverpool called The Fosters? He was in that, wasn't he? I'm sure he was in that. Lenny Henry, the Fosters, yeah, about this black family in Liverpool. Yeah, he does. He does those adverts, doesn't he, for the hotel chain as well. The classics are ace high. You okay? Thanks for stopping by. Happy New Year. Brian Gilson, I love Tucker and Dale, right? It's so funny. One of the stars of it stars in Cottage Country. Yeah, that's right. Fazbear Brothers, Tucker and Dale versus Evil is one of my favourites, right? Andy Like Stuff Channel is saying, my comics as a kid were 20,000 AD with Judge Dredd and Teenage Mutant Hero Turtles. Yeah, they both got large fan followings, haven't they? The Judge Dredd and the Teenage Mutant Hero Turtles. I think I've only seen one of the Turtles movies. Yeah. The classics are ace. Ratfink Bobo is hysterical. Yeah, it's in here. Yeah, Ratfink and Bobo. Yeah, in this box set. Let's get it out and show it. Yeah, got a nice booklet with it as well. It's a pity the film's quality isn't commensurate with the booklets. I'll just get that one and show you. There it is. That's the one you're referring to. Yeah, Ratfink and Bobo. Yeah, I wasn't too keen on that, to be honest with you. But yeah, one man's meat and all that, eh? But as I say, I'll talk about this in depth a little bit later on in the stream. So did any of you guys get any good box sets for Christmas? Let me know what you got. Be very interested. I'll tell you one of the box sets, guys, that I was especially pleased with, the House of Limits. Season 1 and season 2. I've got the box set of that on Blu-ray, so that'll go nice alongside on the shelf with me Twilight Zone. So I'm looking forward to revisiting that. It's ages since I watched an episode of the House of Limits, so yeah, I'm looking forward to checking that out. Stacey Stevens is here. Hi, Alan. You okay, Stace? Hope you had a nice holiday. Yeah, all the best to you and Carl. Thanks for stopping by. Pete's saying, thoughts on Jordan Peele's Nope and Us? I didn't like them, Pete. No, they're not my cup of tea. I tried to like them and that, but yeah, they didn't do anything for me at all. Yeah, so yeah, not my cup of tea at all, unfortunately. Although I do know a lot of people do like it. They weren't really for me. Right, Richard Brown saying, just watched Iguana with a Tongue of Fire. Didn't like it. Very poor Giallo. I think I've seen that one, Richard. Yeah, I wasn't too keen on it either. Yeah, those Giallo movies, they're a little bit of a hit and miss, aren't they? My all-time favourite Giallo movie is this masterpiece here, The Bird with the Crystal Plumage. Fantastic movie starring Susie Kendall, and yeah, great solid storyline and a great twist in that. Dario Argento's first real Giallo movie. Yeah, so if you haven't seen The Bird with the Crystal Plumage, Arrow's done a fantastic edition. They brought it out on 4K as well a couple of months ago. If you haven't seen The Bird with the Crystal Plumage, I highly recommend that you get that and watch it, because if you love your Giallo movies, I think you'll enjoy that one. I think it's a masterpiece myself. Right, just catching up with the comments here, guys. Right, rock and roll hell's here. You okay, mate? Thanks for dropping by. Evening all. Hope you had a nice Christmas and New Year. Stacey saying, I like Nope, but I didn't like Us. Yeah, as I say, Stacey, neither of them impressed me. Yeah, so yeah, I haven't kept them in collection yet. I thought they were very, very disappointing. But as I say, I do know a lot of people do like them. Yeah, but they weren't for me, unfortunately. The classics are Ace is saying, somehow the AC's VHS of Ratfink a Boo Boo was rated BBFC 18. All right. True action star of the Dales is asking me, overrated horror franchises scream for me. I think this question was broached on Pete's channel last night. I said Paranormal Activity I thought was quite overrated, and there's another. I know there's only 2 movies, but I also mentioned was it Happy Death Day? Yeah, that, where you have like a loop goes round and round and that, and each time it repeats the scene. It's the also slightly, yeah. I wasn't too keen on that one, but I thought the Paranormal Activity franchise was really overrated. I'm not really, then again, I'm not really a big fan of found footage movies. So yeah, not really for me, those movies. I've heard talk that they're going to make another one as well. So I definitely won't be watching that. Carl's here. You're right, Carl. Hope you had a nice Christmas and New Year. Thanks for dropping by. Hi, Alan. Hope you're well. I'm not too, thanks, mate. Yeah. Just getting back into the live stream of things and that. Been off for a couple of weeks and that. So yeah, it's good to be back. And yeah, thanks for dropping by. True Action Star of the Dales is saying, I'm going to watch the Terrifier films with the wife at the weekend. A bottle of wine and cheese board whilst watching them. Yeah, you're going to chill out, watching Art the Clown. Yeah, as I say, I enjoyed the first Terrifier, but Terrifier 2, although it was a very, very brutal movie, I thought the ending was a bit cheesy, but I'm not going to go into that too much in case anybody on here hasn't seen it, but I was quite disappointed with Terrifier 2, so I flung her on eBay. You know, I think if they, as I said before, if they tweak the story a little bit, you know, to cut out some of the comedic elements, I thought it would have been a good movie, but it was a very, very brutal one, particularly one kill, you know, oh yeah, really brutal, but having said that, it's not a movie that I'm gonna be revisiting. Pete's asking me thoughts on the Suspiria remake. I haven't seen it, Pete. Yeah, I prefer the original from 1977. You know, I'm not really. I've got no real sort of like intentions to watch the remake. Yes, because I've heard a lot of people say it's not as good as the original. So yeah, I don't think I'll be watching that one because I love the original too much. The 1977 one, which I thought was one of the best horror movies ever made. Beautifully coloured movie as well. So yeah, so I can't comment on that because obviously I haven't seen it. Rock and roll health saying I got four flies on Grey Velvet. I presume you mean 4K from Severin. Utter beauty of a package, highly recommended. Yeah, they just brought it out, haven't they? I like 4 Flies on Grey Velvet. I've got the Shameless edition, the yellow case one, so I might check that out actually. Yeah, I like that movie. Yeah, got a great twist as well. Thanks for that, mate. I might check that out. That 4K. Right, Pete's asking me, what are some of your favourite horror remakes, Alan? Well, one of my favourites, I haven't got many, Pete, but one of my favourite horror remakes is the Amityville Horror, which I think was made in 2005. Very, very good. I even thought that was better than the original, you know, the one with Margot Kidder in and James Rowland from 1979. Oh yeah, I like that one. I like that remake. Having said that, I'm trying to think of any others. So most of them, 99.9% of them, I haven't liked. One of the worst ones was the Psycho remake. That was an awful one. That it really was. You know, yeah, the best one I thought was the Amityville Horror one. Yeah, I think they did a great job with that movie. Melanie Gilson is here. You okay, Mel? Hope you had a nice Christmas and New Year. Happy New Year, Alan, and a very happy New Year to you as well, Mel. Yeah, thanks for dropping by. Nice to talk to you again. Richard Brown is saying, I was surprised how much I enjoyed the Suspiria remake. Right, being a fan of the original. Oh, so you enjoyed that one, did you, Richard? Yeah, I might check it out. I don't know, but I love the 1977 one too much. But I might check it out if I see it going for 99p to rent on Amazon Prime. I might spare 99p. I'll watch it. Yeah, but I don't think I'd pay $9.99, $10.99 for the DVD or Blu-ray, whatever. Right, Lewis Clark saying, "Hello, Alan. You okay, Lewis? Hope you're okay, mate." And I've been watching a lot of movies. I just watched Smile. Awesome movie. I'd certainly agree with you. Definitely. Actually made me jump a couple of times, which is rare. Yeah, it had a couple of jump scares in Smile, didn't it? I know some people describe them as formulaic and nothing really, they haven't seen before. But as I said in my review, I thought the jump scares, they fitted in well with the movie. You know, the storyline, they went very well hand in hand with as the story unraveled. I thought they were very well interspersed. you know. So I'm not really a fan of jump scares. I've said this before in my videos, but I think the ones in Smile were very, very well done, very effective. And I love the main, I'll tell you what, that girl that played that psychiatrist, she was really on the money here. She's a fantastic actress. You really felt her trauma, you know. And as I say, I love the mystery aspect about the creature, you know. It was a kind of like a shapeshifter, wasn't it? Like Pennywise, although it didn't obviously it didn't manifest as horror characters. It manifested itself. It took people's bodies over and sort of like etched a smile on their face, didn't it? Yeah, very, very original idea, that. And to think that was based on a short movie, you know. Oh yeah, I love Smile. Yeah, one of my favourite horror movies of 2022. True action star of the Dales is saying, did you watch The Black Phone? That was good. I didn't like it. No, I didn't like that at all. I know a lot of people do like it, but it wasn't for me, unfortunately. No, I was disappointed. Based on a story by Joe Hill, isn't it? Stephen King's son. Yeah, I wasn't a huge fan of that movie, unfortunately. Right, Sam K.A. is saying, speaking of autographs, you got any? I've got James Herbert's autograph, you know, the horror writer who sadly died a couple of years ago. My number one horror writer, Britain's number one horror writer. I got his autograph along with a very, very nice letter advising me on writing, you know, because I wanted to become a writer around about that time, because I was very influenced by his work, and I wrote to him for advice, telling him how much I liked his books and that, and I got a very nice letter back from him. Yeah, so I got Bruce Forsyth's autograph somewhere when I wrote to him. I didn't meet him, I just wrote to him. Yeah, got Noel Edmonds' autograph somewhere when he opened he came to Liverpool in was it 1979 to open a toy shop called the Magic Merry-Go-Round. I don't know if any of you remember that store in Liverpool. It was on London Road. So I met Noel Edmonds briefly, shook his hand and that, and spoke to him. I've got Larry Grayson's autograph somewhere. Again, he came to Liverpool to promote his book, Larry Grayson's Parlour Fun book. I've got that somewhere. I've got Joe Hill's autograph, you know, Stephen King's son. He came to Liverpool a couple of years ago. He came to Waterstones to promote Horns. Anybody seen the movie Horns? It was his novel spawned the movie Horns. So he was promoting Horns, and I spoke to him. And I've got his book there, signed autograph, yeah. So, yeah, as I say, I've got a couple, yeah. Right. Okay, true action star of the Dales is saying, the wife thinks half the clown is quite cute. Oh, God. Not cute in nature, is he? Bit of blood gets her going. Oh, she likes the blood and gore, does she, in the horror movies, does she? Yeah. A lot of people, that's why a lot of people like the Hammer movies when he first came out. They liked the blood and gore because it was something different. You know, when you saw Christopher Lee with the blood coming out the corners of his mouth, and Frankenstein chopping up the bodies and that. Yeah, a lot of people loved that. You know, that's what sort of like made them stand out, wasn't it? The Hammer films. True action star of the Dales is saying, watch The Woman in Black and its sequel from a few years ago. What a load of tripe. Oh, you didn't like that? I didn't like the sequel. I didn't mind the movie with the fella out of Harry. It was Daniel Radcliffe, the fellow who took Harry Potter off. I didn't mind that, but I did prefer the BBC. The BBC play was from 1988, 89. There's one particular very effective jump scare in that. Oh yeah. It's notorious, that one, for this particularly startling jump scare. Yeah, but yeah, I don't mind. As I say, I don't mind the first Woman in Black, but I did not like that sequel. It was rubbish, a load of rubbish on it. But I loved the BBC TV movie of that. Fantastic. I like the novel as well by Susan Hill. One of the best ghost stories I've ever read in my whole life, actually. Right, Rock and Roll Hell is saying, the Suspiria remake isn't as good as the original, but it's still definitely worth a look, right? This is coming from an Argento fanatic. Oh, so you like Dario Argento, do you? Yeah, he's made some cracking films, hasn't he? Yeah, as I say, if I see it like cheap anyway, I might venture to watch it. But I'm not going into it with any great expectations, because as I say, I love the original one too much, you know, the 1977 one, which I thought was one of the greatest horror movies ever made. Yeah. This is it, you see, with these remakes, isn't it? You know, most of the time, as I said before, you know, they don't live up to the original. The Nightmare on Elm Street one was another poor one. I didn't like that either. I didn't mind the the Halloween Rob Zombie. He went his own way, didn't it? You know, he sort of like took Myers down a different path, didn't he? You know, I didn't mind that. I didn't like that dreadful sequel with the white horse. Oh my days, what was he thinking of putting that in? The white horse, what was the symbolism behind that? But as I say, I didn't mind, but I do prefer the Halloween 1978. That's my #1 favourite, you know, John Carpenter. But I say I don't mind the Rob Zombie one. It's more brutal, isn't it? Yeah, as I say, he gave us some sort of like interpretation of the Myers character, didn't he? But that Halloween 2 was awful movie. Rob Zombie one, I mean, not the Carpenter one from 1981. The classics are Ace. The Fly remake by Cronenberg is a classic. That said, I find the original very underappreciated. It's a great mystery. I prefer the original one with David Hedison in, yeah. It's all right, the Jeff Goldblum one. But, yeah, he took that story in a little bit of a different direction, didn't he? But I do prefer the David Hedison one. I think that's an absolute classic, that, you know. I've got the box set, actually, The Fly from Scream Factory with the David Hedison and that one in. The Goldblum one. But, yeah, the #1 for me is the David Hedison one. Right. Richard Brown is saying the Fog remake was crap. Yeah. The classics are Ace. Also, the Suspiria remake is free with Amazon. Oh, it's free, is it? Oh, I might just watch that over the weekend and see how it compares to the original. Yeah, and just out of curiosity. Yeah. Oh, that's good. Yeah, I'm a member of Amazon Prime, so I'll have a look at that. Cheers. Thanks for that. Andy Like Stuff channel. Rob Zombie's Halloween movie remakes aren't great. What are your thoughts? Well, as I say, I didn't mind the first one. I didn't think it was as good as the John Carpenter. You know, as I said before, I didn't think it was as good as the John Carpenter one from 1978. It was an absolute horror classic, you know. But yeah, I don't mind the Rob Zombie, the first Halloween, as I say, but I did not like that second one, what he done with the white bloody horse. Oh my days. Dreadful sequel. Right. True action star of the Dales is saying, always thought Basic Instinct was a bit of horror. Lovely Sharon Stone and her cross legs. We broached that last night on Pete's live stream. Though it does scare me when my wife does cooking with a knife after, I can imagine. Yeah, it's a very sort of like, it sticks in the memory, that scene, doesn't it? Yeah. I think like when they show you these like the top 20 memorable movie scenes, I think that's nearly always in the top. That's nearly always in the top 20, isn't it? The cross-leg scene, yeah. Right, Rock and Roll Hell. You a fan of Barbara Crampton? Yeah, love Barbara Crampton. Vinegar Syndrome are releasing From Beyond on 4K. Oh, right, so that's coming out on 4K. I've got the Scream Factory one of that, so I might check that out actually at the end of the month with a very vibrant slipcover. Oh, I'll have to check that out. Thanks for that. I didn't know they were releasing From Beyond on 4K. Yeah, thanks very much for that, mate. Right, Cinema Chaos is saying, is the box on the Outer Limits box set any good? I heard it's not the best. It's a little bit flimsy, I have to be honest with you. Yeah, it's not as sturdy as this Steckler one, which is very solid. Yeah, it is quite flimsy actually, yeah. But I say I'm looking forward to revisiting the episodes on the Outer Limits. I haven't seen them for years. Right. Pete's saying, did you see Barbarian, Alan? That was really surprisingly good. I haven't seen Barbarian yet, Pete. I hope to check that one out. Yeah, I've heard good things about that. Yeah, I'll definitely have to check that out. Yeah. Malibu Stacy, what do you think of what's that? Shyamalan movies? I don't think I've seen any of them. I think The Sixth Sense was his best film, and he has a new one on the cinema soon called Knock on the... I've heard things about Knock on the Cabin. Yeah, I've heard good things about that, but I wasn't a big fan of The Sixth Sense. Yeah, but yeah, I wonder what you meant there when you said Shyamalan. But yeah, I'll most probably check that Knock on the Cabin out when it comes out. Lewis Clark saying, Place Endo Guy, I just watched Barbarian a couple of days ago. Brilliant movie. Yeah, I'll definitely have to check that out, Barbarian. Richard Brown, have you seen The Enemy or Prisoners? No. Very horror-like, but promoted as thrillers. I'll have to check those out. Thanks for that, Richard. True Action Star of the Dales is saying, do love the white sexualized feeling of the vampires. There's always a bit of sensuality about those creatures, yeah? Dracula's quite a randy devil. But in the book, you know, he was a monster. He was a real... If you've read the original novel by Bram Stoker, he was one ferocious monster. He didn't really... Stoker didn't bother with all the Twilight crap what we have. Well, of course, you know, Twilight's made many, many years later. But comparing the Twilight vampires to the vampires as depicted in Stoker's novel, you know, there's a world of a difference, you know, because Dracula was a monster. There was no sort of like a pin-up boy aspect about him at all. He started off as an old man. I say, if you've read the book, he started off as a very old man, and he gradually became younger and younger and younger the more blood he consumed. And that's how I like my Draculas. I don't like all this rubbishy pin-up boy stuff like sexy vampires. No, that's not for me. I like my vampires to be monsters through and through. You know, I know a lot of people are fans of the sensual vampire, and that's fine. You know, one man's meat is another man's poison. But for me, I don't think you can beat the monstrous vampire. You know, the sort of like, as I say, like in Dracula. In the original Dracula novel by Bram Stoker, he was a real demon, you know, and Christopher Lee, although he did have a sexual aspect to him, he also portrayed him very, very well as a snarling, you know, bloodthirsty demon, you know. And as I've said it many times, and I've got to say it again, Christopher Lee is my #1 Dracula. I think he got it right to a T, playing that role. You know, there's no, out of all the other Dracula actors I've watched, there's not one, in my opinion, has come up to Christopher Lee playing Dracula. You know, Bela Lugosi was good in his day, but of course he was sort of like the first universal Dracula, wasn't he? You know, and he played a lot of vampire characters after that. And a lot of people thought he played Dracula in a string of movies. No, he didn't. He only played Dracula in the Dracula 1930 one, the Todd Browning one. And then he reprised the role in Abbott and Costello v Frankenstein in 1948. But he did, as I say, he did play a couple of odd vampire-like characters in between. But, oh yeah, he was sort of like the first real screen Dracula, wasn't he? If you discount Max Schreck, Nosferatu, you know, the silent one, which I thought was quite good. But yeah, getting back to what you said about the Dracula being a bit of a randy devil, I don't like me Draculas being randy devils. I like them being ferocious devils. Yeah. Right. Richard Brown is saying The Visit is a good M. Night Shyamalan film, quite scary. Yeah, is that the one where they go to the grandma's house and she gets up in the middle of the night and starts walking around the room or standing by the window? If it is, I wasn't too keen on that, but I know a lot of people do like that. Rock and Roll Hell is saying, I agree, Suspiria is so close to the perfect horror film. Yeah. The music, the way it's shot, the cast, yeah. The look, brilliant. Are you a fan of Tenebrae Phenomena opera from 1987? I love Tenebrae. I love Phenomena, but I'm not a fan of opera. I found that a bit slow, but I love Tenebrae and I love Phenomena. I've got the 4Ks of them, actually, the first two. Yeah, I wasn't a huge fan of opera, unfortunately. I think those Tenebrae and Phenomena, and along with the Suspiria and The Bird with the Crystal Plumage, are absolute masterpieces of cinema. You know, fantastic movies and a very, very high rewatchability factor as well. Actually done a video. I presume some of you guys have seen it. Rewatchability movies from your personal collection with a high rewatchability factor. Yeah, I enjoyed doing that. Yeah, I've got some good ones there in my collection. True Action Star of the Dales is saying, highly recommend watching the film from 2017. Watch that with the wife one night. We didn't have sex for a few months. If you've seen it, you'll know why. Haha. Don't think I've seen that one. I've heard of it. I don't think I've seen it. Stephen King wrote a story. If any Stephen King fans on here, he wrote a rather out there story called Chattery Teeth. Have you read that? I think it was in was it Nightmares and Dreamscapes as anthology? That was quite good. Yeah, I think that was actually filmed in one of the Stephen King's anthology movies, Chattery Teeth. I'm sure it was. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys, but I'm sure that was filmed as, you know, one of the segments of anthology, one of his anthology shows. Richard Brown is saying Deep Red might be my favourite Argento. Yeah, good movie. David Hemmings. I've got that one as well on 4K. I've actually, talking about David Hemmings, guys, I've actually just ordered just this week. Any of you guys seen a movie called Blow Up where he's a photographer? I've just ordered that, the Criterion one, so I'm expecting that to arrive any day now. Yeah, I like David Hemmings. Yeah, he was married to Gail Honeycutt, wasn't he? Yeah, he was good in Eye of the Devil as well. Yeah, very fine actor. Right, Carl's saying, I'm looking forward to watching Smile for the first time. Totally agree on the Nightmare on Elm Street remake. Terrible. Yeah, Carl, it was awful, that Nightmare on Elm Street remake. I hated it. But I think you'll enjoy Smile. It's a great movie. Yeah, and a good rewatchability factor as well. Yeah, thoroughly enjoyed it. As I said before, I think it's one of the best horror movies of 2022. Yeah, really like that movie. Malibu Stacy is saying, yes, it was bad. Carlini 09. Yeah, Nightmare on Elm Street, the remake, awful. True Action Star of the Dales. Do you ever have any guests on your stream? I've had a couple of guests. Yeah, I've had Pete on and I've had Carl on. So I'm hoping to get another 2 people on in a couple of weeks' time. Yeah, I did one a couple of weeks ago, but there was a technical issue. I had one of the guys on, Pete's guys from his channel, Mike. I had Pete on and Mike, and there was a technical issue, so I had problems on that. So I've left it a couple of weeks, and that get really familiar with that and more experienced with having guests on. And once I think I'm okay with having the guests on, I'll have another go and having more than one guest on. But I'm definitely going to have some more guests on in the new year. So when I'm ready, guys, I'll let you all know. I'll send some invites out, and if you want to come on, yeah, by all means, you're welcome to, yeah. But as I say, just want to make sure I don't have any more technical hitches and that, So yeah, definitely have some more guests on. Right, Brian Gilson saying, have you seen the new trailer for the new Evil Dead film? Yeah, I saw it. Yeah, it looks okay. Yeah, I'll definitely be checking it out because I've watched all the Evil Dead movies, so I'll definitely be checking it out, when it's released. True Action Star of the Dales is saying, Don't Look Now is one classy film. Donald Sutherland in that was great. Yeah, it's not really one of my favourites. That I did like the ending, though. I won't give the ending away in case there's anybody here hasn't seen it. But it's based on the Daphne du Maurier novella, isn't it? Yeah. I thought it was a bit slow, to be honest with you. But I know a lot of it. I suppose it's one of those. Marmite movies, isn't it? A lot of people like it, a lot of people loathe it. But yeah, I found it to be somewhat slow. Although I do like Donald Sutherland. He's one of my favourite actors. Right, True Action Star of the Dales is saying, did you like the Dracula BBC show? That was awful. Yeah, you mean the one that was shown a couple of Christmases ago? I didn't like that at all. I wasn't a fan. Again, I didn't like the wisecracks. Tell me, guys, why do a lot of these producers, I don't know what you guys think of this. I've said it before, I'm going to say it again. Why do these modern producers and writers want to put misplaced humor in the horror films? I think it totally ruins it. There's a time and a place for comedy and horror, and if it's not done well, it ruins the movie. Falls flat on his face. Why did they have to give the villain wisecracks? Why can't they just make him inherently evil? From start to finish. Why did they have to give him corny wisecracks? They ruined the Freddy Krueger character doing that. They started putting humor in, and it completely I can't even talk. You haven't even had a drink. Just went down to zero in my estimation. The Nightmare on Elm Street series, they started putting humor in. Completely ruined it for me. But as I say, I love the first 3 Elm Street movies, but after Dream Warriors, I'm afraid, no. So, yeah, as I say, I don't know why they do it. Especially if it's not, people go to it with preconceived ideas. It's going to be with these preconceived ideas that are going to be watching a genuine scary horror movie. And what do they find when they watch it? Bloody ridiculous humor, you know, especially when they have teenagers in a horror movie, which I think, well, I've said it before many times, the Americans seem to do a lot of those teen movies, don't they? And put like ridiculous scenarios in and that, you know, stupid, you know, mistakes and that, what they wouldn't make in real life, you know, and they start putting comedy in and that. Yeah, it totally ruins it for me, guys. It's got to, if you're going to put comedy in a horror movie, you've got to make sure it's done darn well, or don't bother at all. That's what I say. The classics are saying, I watched Hostel a few months ago and thought it was utterly dreadful, right? And all around unpleasant. Don't understand how torture porn appeals to anyone. Yeah, there's a bit over the top, those Hostel movies, aren't they? I think they're a bit more reliant on the torture, as you say. You know, there's not really much of a story to them. Right, True Action Star of the Dales is saying opera music was all over the place. Opera, then rock music, yeah. Pete's saying opera as one of the best uses of a keyhole I've seen in a horror film. Oh, right, yeah, yeah. So you like opera then, do you, Pete? Yeah, I know a lot of people do like that. You know, it's one of those, I suppose it's one of those Marmite movies, you know, you either like it or you either hate it. Sam K.A. is saying, have you watched the new Count Yorga box set yet? I haven't got round to it yet because I've got a huge backlog of movies where I haven't watched, you know, because I'm always buying movies like when I can afford them, you know, and I've got a big pile there by my shelves I've got to get through, you know, so I haven't watched it yet, but I'm really made up with it, you know. I thought they'd done a great job. Did a fantastic job with that Count Yorga box set, yeah. So I'm looking forward to revisiting that. Right. Right. Brian Gilson is saying Chatting Teeth was in Quicksilver Highway. I thought it was. I thought he'd done a segment of it from one of his anthologies, yeah, with Christopher Lloyd, yeah. I thought he did. It's a good story, that Chatting Teeth, yeah. I enjoyed it. That's a one I haven't got my collection, me horror anthology collection, Quicksilver Highway. I'll have to get that. True Action Star saying Tenebrae, that one was good, yeah, totally agree. The main theme music was something out of very cheesy 80s porn. Don't know about that, but I love the movie. Sam K.A. saying, watch the Frankenstein film from the 90s, the one with De Niro. Oh yeah, got that. I got the 4K of that. As the Monster on Arrow 4K. Yeah, the other day enjoyed it. Yeah, I've got to get around to watching that as well. I watched it many times on DVD and Blu-ray, but I say I've got the 4K and I've got all those juicy extras as well, because I love, I've said it before, I love, as well as getting the movies, I love getting all the extras as well, you know. So, yeah. Sorry about that, guys. A bloody Wally outside on a bloody motorbike. In that rain as well. Bloody nutcase. True Action Star of the Dales. House of Drip Blood poster is great. Oh, thanks very much, yeah. Richard Brown. Kenneth Branagh directed that De Niro Frankenstein, yeah. They're bloody nuisance, those motorbikes. We had them on Christmas Day around our end at bloody 12 o'clock, you know, bloody roaring up and down the road. They should be banned, those scrambler bikes. They're a bloody nuisance. True Action Star of the Dales. Watch that Midsummer film. My word, what a load of pretentious rubbish. Yeah, I wasn't a fan of that. Looked nice, but no story, and the chanting was laughable. I wasn't a great fan of Midsummer. No. I think the main problem with that, they could have it was a bit too long. They could have cut it down, you know, and they could have cut it down to about 90 minutes, you know. There was a good idea there somewhere, but I thought it was very, very slow, and I thought the part where she stayed in the camp after seeing them throwing themselves off, committing suicide, they still stayed in the camp. I thought to myself, would you really do that in real life? Would you stay in a place like that where there's strange things like that were happening? You'd be off, wouldn't you? You know, you wouldn't see my backside for dust, you know. Richard Brown, Midsummer was excellent, I thought. Yeah, it's one of those Marmite movies, isn't it? You know. Rock and Roll Hell. Freddy was at his best in Nightmare 2. I like Nightmare 2. Yeah, Freddy's Revenge. Yeah. I know a lot of people don't like that, but I loved it. You know, he's very, very serious, wasn't he? And the way he possessed Jesse as well. You know, took his body over, and the party pool scene as well. Yeah, I like Nightmare 2. Yeah, as I say, I like the first 3 Nightmare movies, but after that, I thought they went really downhill, guys. You know, they really did. Awful. movies after that, after the Dream Warriors. He just wasn't scary anymore either, the Krueger character, in my opinion. Rock and Roll Hell, I'll never get the hate for that film, right? True action star of the Dale's Nightmare on Elm Street 6, that was garbage, yeah. Sam K.A., yes he did, right? True action star of the Dales, Nightmare 2 is top stuff, Freddy at his most evil, yeah. The Shower Kill Mind, yeah. Love Nightmare 2. It was nice to see Nancy back in Dream Warriors, wasn't it? When she came back and helped the those kids, fight Freddy. Yeah, it was great to see Heather Langenkamp, reprise her role as Nancy. But yeah, as I say, those first 3 Nightmare on Elm Street movies are my favourites. But after that, yeah, that was it. It just went downhill. Rock and Roll, Pure Sinister. Classics are ace. That's part of why I actually really enjoy Jason Goes to Hell. Despite how different it is, it tries to do something more serious and unsettling. Yeah, the thing is and I take your point, but the thing is when you try to do something different with a popular horror franchise, sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. It can either be a great success or it can fall. It can be a bit of an anticlimax and fall flat on its face. It depends on the story, doesn't it? And a team of writers who's actually putting the story together. It's like when you write a short story or a novel, you put it out there. You're not going to know, how many people are going to like it and how many people are going to hate it. And I know that speaking from experience as a writer, you write a story and that you sort of like give birth to the story and you put it out into the world and that, and it's just sort of like you just don't know how it's going to be taken. True action star of the Dales. Thoughts on the Elvis film from last year? Well, if you've been watching me videos, I'm not a fan of that. No, I did not like the I didn't like the jerk and montages at the beginning, going from scene to scene to scene. And my mum, who absolutely loved Elvis, she absolutely hated this movie, and she actually fell asleep. Even before it was halfway through, actually. She didn't like it. I didn't like it. I preferred the Kurt Russell one, the made-for-TV movie that was actually eventually, it sort of like, it transferred onto the cinema. That was the best one, in my opinion. Elvis, the movie with Kurt Russell. I did not like that one last. Although a lot of people do like it, and a lot of people hate it, and I am in the lesser category. I did not like that at all. More about Colonel Tom Parker, wasn't it? The classics are ace. On the other hand, I also enjoy Jason X due to how it goes all in with the camp. Yeah, movie has got its fans. Brian Gilson, Jason X is one of my favourites too. Right. True action star of the Dawn Neighbours, Be Quiet. Bloody idiotic motorbike riders. True action star of the day. Motorbikes at the price of petrol. How can they do it? I never know. Oh, you should have been here on Christmas Day. It was bloody awful. The Christmas Day of all days, riding around on a bloody noisy motorbike, Oh, it was terrible. They need to do something about, though. I won't go on about it like guys, but, they need to do something about these antisocial idiots that roaring around on the road with these probably stolen scrambler bikes. No brains. Brian Gilson, I really enjoyed watching your early DVD pickup videos recently. Did you enjoy The Barge People? It was all right. It's not great. Watched that a while ago, actually. Rock and Roll Hell. I agree that the Frost 3 nightmares are that should be fair, shouldn't it? Yeah, I agree that the first nightmares are the best. However, I do quite like New Nightmare. A lot of people do like New Nightmare. Yeah. Sam K. Was that a motorbike I could hear out? Yeah, it was. Yeah, roaring down. Yeah, just roared past our house. And I was one of those idiots, like roar around and that. On a probably stolen bike. Major problem around this area. Police are watching and that, but the thing is, most of the time they speed off and that before they can come. But yeah, they're getting monitored, they are getting monitored. The Lizard Monkey, hi there. Biz Comedy Comic got into trouble for taking the mickey out of Freddy versus Jason in a DVD competition. New Line Cinema withdrew the DVD and Plasma TV prizes, in fact. All right. Hi, Alan, a Rapscallion. Have you seen Frankenstein, a True Story with Michael Sarrazin? I love that movie. That's one of my all-time favourite Frankenstein movies, that, from the 70s, yeah. James Mason's in as well, yeah. Nicola Pagis, yeah, great movie from the 70s. And have you also seen George Lazenby, Who Saw Her Die film? George Lazenby, Who Saw Her Die. I'm not sure about that. It rings a bell. Is that a kind of a Giallo movie, Who Saw Her Die? I'm pretty sure I have seen that one. I remember George Lazenby in the, he took Bond off, didn't he? The one with Diana Rigg, the tragic ending in that, on Her Majesty's Secret Service, yeah. That's how I know George Lazenby. But, oh yeah, Frankenstein, a True Story is an absolute masterpiece. I've got fond memories of watching that on the Christmas of 1975. Oh, I loved it. And I've got the Blu-ray of it now. Yeah, I love the ending as well, the Arctic and that, where the monster steers the ship into the Arctic and that, you know. And, oh yeah, he's, Michael Sarrazin's really on the money, as is Leonard Weissing playing Victor Frankenstein. So many great memorable scenes in that, you know. Oh yeah, I love Frankenstein, a True Story. It's an absolute classic. David McCullum's in it as well. He makes a brief appearance, doesn't he, as Henry Clavell? Yeah. Oh yeah, I love that one, Frankenstein, a True Story. I've got, what's the name as well? Extras in that. Leonard Weissing singing that song, You Don't Know Me. He had a good voice, Leonard Weissing, yeah? Yeah. Richard Brown, What About Bubba Hotep, Elvis fighting Egyptian demons? Yeah, I thought that was a ridiculous movie. I did not like that at all. I hated it. Andy Likes Stuff channel. Have you watched Company of the Wolves? I don't like Company of the Wolves. Is another bad one I hate. Don't like that at all. Walk On, Always Believe. I've sent you a parcel, Alan. You should get it in. Oh, thanks very much, mate. Yeah, cheers. Yeah, yeah. Oh, 2023 is a good year for you. Yeah, thanks very much. Appreciate that, mate. Andy Likes Stuff channel with Angela Lansbury. Yeah, she was in, yeah, Angela Lansbury of Murder, She Wrote fame and Bedknobs and Broomsticks. Yeah, sadly passed away, didn't she? A couple of weeks ago. Very fine actress, Angela Lansbury. Rock and Roll Hell, Who Saw Her Die is a brilliant Giallo, yeah. Yeah, I'm sure I've seen that, you know. Yeah, I'll have to check it out. I'll have to see if it's on Prime. I'm sure I've seen it a couple of years ago. Right, guys, as promised, I'm gonna show you this box set now in more detail and talk a little bit about the movies, the incredibly strange films of Ray Dennis Steckler. So there you go. Got that for Christmas. It's pretty steep as well. Just over £100 it cost me. The first couple of movies were okay. Wild Guitar was okay. And it's got one of the longest titles, The Incredibly Strange Creatures. The incredibly strange creatures who stopped living and became mixed up zombies. I said on Pete's Live last night, this set's got the longest title of a horror movie ever. But you've got basically you've got 20 films here, like The Las Vegas Serial Killer, Blood Shack, Cynthia. I've got a couple more to watch, The Thrill Killers. I'll show you anyway, guys. I'll just give you a brief look at the interior. So it's like a book, basically. And there's all the movies here. Wild Guitar's quite good. It's very much along the lines of a rock and roll movie. This guy wants to become famous. They're not all horror. They're sort of like, some of them are thrillers, you know. There's the one with the long title. And then you've got The Thrill Killers. You can see that. Rat Finker Boo Boo. Body Fever. Blood Shack. Hollywood Strangler meets a Skid Row Slasher and the Las Vegas Serial Killer. And then you've got Count Alchem, Nazi Brothel, Love Life of Hitler's Nazis, and The Mad Love Life of a Hot Vampire. Oh, missus. There you go. I can't read you this. That's a bit rude, this title. Dr. C, COC, Love, The Sexorcist Devil, and Red Heat. Summerthorn, Reading, PA, one more time. So just got a couple more movies to watch in that, guys. And there's the book list. The incredibly strange filmmaker, Ray Dennis Steckler. Tells you all about the movies, basically. There you go. It was a kind of a guerrilla filmmaker, you know. He made all these exploitation movies. I'd never heard of him, actually, until I saw this box set. And I thought to myself, I'll give that a try, like, you know, treat myself for Christmas. But most of the movies, guys, are they've got no story to them. And that one with the Strangler, it's all like there's no dialogue in it. Just sort of like his introspection, his thoughts, and that, but there's no actual dialogue in that movie and that. But the later movies, most of the movies leave a lot to be desired. Yeah. So despite its pretty packaging, the movies don't come up to what I would like them to come up to. So I'll put it on eBay. So there you go. It's a nice box set, like pretty sturdy in that. So so that's the Incredibly Strange Films of Ray Dennis Steckler. Yeah. Okay, then catch up with the comments now. Right. Sam K.A. Terror Train with Jamie Lee Curtis in is good. Yeah, it's all right. I'm not really a huge fan of that. It's all right. Rock and Roll Hell. I've been collecting those Vinegar Syndrome, Forgotten Giallo box sets, some utter gems in those sets. I bought one a couple of Christmases ago, thinking it was going to be in English, but all the movies were in foreign, so I sent it back. But I'm thinking now that the last year or so, I've been getting more and more into foreign horror movies. I might actually give them the rest of them a go, even the first one, because I believe there is some gems in those Vinegar Syndrome, Forgotten Giallo box sets. So I just might give them another go. Right, Sam K.A. is saying Mind Warp was pretty good. Watched the other day. I haven't seen that one, Sam. Mind Warp. Is that like a horror, is it? Walk On, Always Believe. Glad you enjoyed Smile. Yeah, great movie. I gave it a 6 out of 10, but mind you, I was tired when I turned it on. So in all fairness, it wasn't a fair viewing or racing. So I'll give it a rewatch when I feel awake. Haha, yeah. Oh yeah, love Smile. Yeah, fantastic movie. Brian Gilson saying, I watched The Curse of Humpty Dumpty 2 trailer the other day. It looked good. Oh, right. Yeah. I like the first Humpty Dumpty. Yeah. This is the Cult of Humpty Dumpty, isn't it? So I think it's actually on Prime now. So I might check that out over the weekend. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I did like the first one. I think I've done a review of that a good few videos back. So I'll definitely be checking out the sequel. I'll tell you another good movie along those lines. Jack in the Box. Don't know if you've seen those, Jack in the Box 1 and 2. I recently got the Blu-ray, the Blu-rays for Christmas, the double movie set. And I put the DVDs on eBay. So yeah, love it. I love Jack in the Box. Very, very well done movie. Richard Brown, I've just bought Equus Blu-ray, fantastic psychodrama with Richard Burton, Piece of Faith, and Jenny Agutter. Right? We'll find actors then. Rock and Roll Hell. That's a nice looking box set. That's a Vinegar Syndrome set. It's actually Severin. Yeah, it's a Severin set. Yeah. Oh, yeah, it's a nice sturdy box. Yeah. So I said, you might like them. Like, I'm not trying to put you off. You might like some of these movies, but they weren't really my cup of tea. I suppose they're kind of Marmite movies, really. Not to be taken too seriously. Yeah. So there you go. Yeah. Severin. It's always a letdown, isn't it, when you get a nice box set and most of the movies are crap, so it's one of those things, I suppose, isn't it? It's like a couple of Christmases back, I bought the Paul Naschy box set, the Spanish guy who's famous for the werewolf movies, the continental werewolf movies, and most of the movies and that I didn't like, guys. The Paul Naschy, so I put them on eBay. Yeah, lovely packaging again, and promised so much, but they delivered so little. So yeah, they were major disappointments as well. The Paul Naschy box sets. The Lizard Monkey saying, Happy New Year, Alan. I hope 2023 is good to you. Is that an Arrow Films box set? The Incredibly Strange Films. No, it's a Severin one. Yeah, Severin Films it is. Yeah. I hope 2023 is good to you. Good for you as well, and it brings you everything you want and that, and happiness and that to your family. Richard Brown, Russ Meyer made some weird but good sexy films. Yeah, some of them are quite gory. Yeah, I've heard of Russ Meyer. There's another guy as well, isn't it, called Andy Milligan? There's another box set of him, Andy Milligan. True action star of the Dales. Ever seen Sallow? That was a wonderful film. I haven't seen that one. No, don't know anything about that one. The classics are ace. I need to check out Terrifier Noticed that the Horror Channel, now called Legend, had it on their schedule a couple of times. Most of what they show is terrible. Direct to DVD fare. I don't know why they saw fit to change the bloody channel's name to Legend. You know, why didn't they just keep it the Horror Channel? Why change it? You know, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Ridiculous changing the title. But yeah, Terrifier, I presume you mean the first one. I do, as I said before, I do prefer the first one to the sequel, although the sequel was very, very brutal. The Lizard Monkey, Full Moon Films, the Puppet Master franchise has some great movies in it. Yeah, I like a couple of them. I used to rent them out when I got my video recorder in the late 80s, early 90s, to rent those out, yeah. The first few were quite good, but after that, thought they went a little bit downhill. The classics are ace. There's now Horror Extra, which you think would show all horror. Oh, that's on later on, isn't it? Doesn't that come on about 7 or 8? But they still show back-to-back repeats of Airwolf. We are not a great fan of Airwolf. Brian Gilson. I've seen the first Jack in the Box. It was a good film, yeah. But I haven't seen the second one. I will need to look for them on DVD. Yeah, very good movies. Yeah, I can highly recommend them. Yeah. I was pleasantly surprised, actually, especially with them being low-budget movies. Oh, yeah, that's why I've upgraded them to Blu-ray. Yeah, very entertaining movies. I hope the third one is as good as the first two. If they do it, you know, they make it into a trilogy. Walk on Always Believe was saying, can you think of any horrors set in wax museums? Well, besides the House of Wax, Vincent Price, I love horrors set in wax museums. It's one of my favourite subgenres. That and demons, dark, grotesque witches. Horror movies set in wax museums. There's one Michael Goff. Michael Goff made one. The horrors of the Black Museum. That's quite a good one. I'm trying to think of some more apart from the House of Wax. What about that one with Patrick Macnee was in? Waxworks. Have you seen those Waxworks ones? Yeah, I wasn't too keen on them. I'm trying to think. Will the movie set in the wax museums? But the Horrors of the Black Museum is a good one with Michael Goff. Highly recommend that one. And of course, the House of Wax with Vincent Price. Rock and Roll Hell. Only Paul Nashi, however you spell it, film I've seen is Panic Beats Undead Night in. I haven't seen that one. Yeah, he carved a reputation, didn't he, for being the top werewolf on the continent, Paul Nashi. Rock and Roll Hell, Undead Knight in armor, slashing people in an old cast. I haven't seen that one there. I'll have to watch out for that one. Richard Brown, Paul Nashi has made some great films. Yeah, a bit of a hit and miss for me. You know, as I say, I was disappointed with those box sets. I think they were the worst movies he made that he put into those box sets. The true action star of the Dales is saying, ever seen the necromantic films? No, but I've heard a lot about them. Me and the wife quite like them, I have to admit. Yeah, as I say, I've heard good things about them. I haven't actually seen them. I'll have to check those out sometime. Rock and Roll Hell is saying, necromantic put me off my dinner. Oh, so it's a bit stomach churning, is it? Oh, I'll have to, if I do check them out, I'll have to prepare myself, won't I? The classics are Ace is saying, I saw a few Hammer films off the Horror Channel, right? What ones did you see? Richard Brown hated necromantic, right? The classics are Ace. Ever seen a 90s horror comedy called Funny Man? If that's the one with Christopher Lee in, I did not like that at all. I thought it was one of his worst films. Very bizarre, yes, I found it hysterical. Extremely deadpan humor. Yeah, I think that's the one with Christopher Lee in, isn't it? Yeah, I wasn't too keen on that. Well, again, I do know there are some people that do like that movie, but not a fan. True action star of the Dales is saying, the Cronenberg crash film was pretty good. People getting off on a car crash is an odd one, but very good. Look at fetishism and all that sensuality. Oh, Mrs. No, thank you. Right. The Lizard Monkey is saying to walk on always believe, not a film but a BBC play. The Attraction, starring Rhys Dinsdale, from 1989, was gory and set in a Chamber of Horrors wax museum. Oh, that's a way. Watch out for that one. A BBC play called The Attractions. Was that part of a horror series? Oh, while we're talking about horror series, guys, I got a cracking DVD. There's only 7 episodes on it. It's called Tales of Unease, and it was first screened, I think it was in 1970, and it's a different horror story each week, something along the lines of like Thriller, you know, Brian Clemence's Thriller, and it Tales from the Crypt, and it Roald Dahl's Tales Unexpected, like different story each week with a twist. So I'm looking forward to watching that. And once I've watched all the episodes, I'll do a review of it. Yeah, so it's a DVD. It's got Tales of Unease. I think it's Network that's done it. I think they're the label that's done it. But yeah, I'm looking forward to watching that, Tales of Unease. Richard Brown, The House That Dripped Blood has a segment in a wax museum. That's right. Yeah, it does. The one with Peter Cushing in. Yeah. Something to do with Salome, isn't it? Yeah. That's a good story, that. I love The House That Dripped Blood. One of my favourites horror portmanteau movies. Brian Gilson saying the Waxwork story from The House That Dripped Blood is really good. Yeah, as I say, the one Peter Cushing in, yeah. Walk On Always Believe is saying, thank you, Alan. And I agree, I didn't find Waxworks much cop to the Lizard Monkey. Thank you very much. Much appreciated. Right. True Action Star of the Dales. I should tell you, Alan, that Necromantic is about people having sex with dead people. Oh, what's the gather word for that, don't they? Having sex with corpses. Ooh, sounds a bit, what's the name? That a bit creepy, that. True Action Star of the Dales. Oh, yeah, sorry. The classics are Necrophilia. I think that's the term, isn't it? Necrophilia. The classics are Ace. Hammer films that I saw shown on the Horror Channel were Dracula, 1958, great one. The Abominable Snowman and The Revenge of Frankenstein. I love The Revenge of Frankenstein. Not a big fan of The Abominable Snowman. I thought that was a bit slow. But yeah, I love Dracula, Christopher Lee, and I love The Revenge of Frankenstein, which was a sequel, wasn't it, to Curse? Yeah, great movies. Just waiting for some more comments, guys. Yeah, so I've got quite a few films to get through yet, what I got for Christmas, and a couple of box sets and that. So I'm pretty well stocked there, movie-wise. The classics are Ace. I have to say my favourite Hammer horror is Quatermass and the Pit. Yeah, I've got the trilogy of the Quatermass movies. I like the first one. Not a big fan of the second, but I love the third one. It's in colour. So yeah, I've got the trilogy of them. Brian Gilson saying, me and my mum are waiting on Rise of the Mummy coming from Amazon. It sounds good from your review. Yeah. True Action Star of the Dales. I'll have to send you a spare copy of Necromantic, Alan. I just have to clean the case. It's seen. I just have to clean the case. It's seen plenty. Meaning you've spilled something naughty on us. Yes, as I say, guys, getting back to this box set. The incredibly strange films of Ray Dennis Steckler. I'm not trying to put you off if you want to check it out, but it is a trifle expensive. I paid 120 quid for this, so be warned that it's quite pricey. But for that amount of money, you would have thought that the films would have been up to scratch. But unfortunately, the first couple are okay, especially that first one, Wild Guitar, where the lad's trying to make it big in the rock and roll business, and that one with the incredibly strange creatures. That's got a very, very creepy fortune teller in it. But after that, they went downhill. So yeah, I won't be. I've actually put it on eBay now, actually. So I definitely won't be revisiting that. But as I say, you might like it. Right, the Lizard Monkey is saying Split Second is a fair 90s British slasher starring Rutger Hauer as a cop chasing an alien murderer. Worth a look. I haven't seen that one. I like Rutger Hauer. My favourite Rutger Hauer movie is The Hitcher. Oh, what a movie that was. Oh, the car scene, the gear type between the cars. Oh my days. Oh yeah, it's a great movie, that, The Hitcher. I believe, I don't know if it's Arrow. I think they're bringing out, they're bringing out is it a 4K or a Blu-ray sometime this year? I'm sure it's a 4K, The Hitcher. So if anybody can throw any light on that, and I'm sure Arrow have announced that they're going to bring out a 4K of The Hitcher. So I'll definitely be getting that if it comes out. Rock and Roll Hell. Wasn't Sid James in a Quatermass film? Yeah, he was. Yeah, I think it was it part 2? I think it was part 2, the second one. True action star of the day. There's plenty of use, Alan. I mean, all clean fun. Sid James is in Quatermass 2. Yeah, I thought he was. Yeah. Rapscallion, do you like Hammer's Devil Rides Out? I love The Devil Rides Out. It's one of my favourite Hammer movies. And To the Devil a Daughter with Christopher Lee. I like The Devil a Daughter as well, but I do prefer The Devil Rides Out. I didn't like the ending of To the Devil a Daughter. I thought it was too rushed and a little bit ridiculous. But having said that, I do think it's a pretty enjoyable movie. So you find this, guys, don't you? With a lot of these movies, the movie's good up till the ending, and the ending lets it down. For example, it was a bloody spider at the end. That was a big letdown. And that, any of you guys seen that movie, The Fan, with John Travolta, where he stalks this I think he's an actor. John Travolta's mad on him. He goes to his house. He wants his autograph. That, I enjoyed that right through. But at the ending, what a dire ending, guys. That was The Fan. Yeah. So, as I say, a lot of movies, they start off good. They sort of like have a good beginning and a middle, but the ending lets them down, which is a shame. It really is. True action star of the day. Have you seen Blue Velvet's fantastic erotic thriller with the line, "Baby wants to bleep, bleep," with Dennis Hopper? Seen it years ago. I'm not a big fan of that. Brian Gilson, The Hitcher's coming out on Second Sight. Yeah. I can't wait to get that, The Hitcher. It's one of my all-time favourites movies, that. Love The Hitcher. Pete's saying Second Sight is doing a special edition of The Hitcher. Rice. Expect a really nice set, apparently coming in the spring. I'll definitely be getting that, Pete, when it comes out. Yeah. As I say, I love The Hitcher. And Rutger Hauer, he was awesome in that role, yeah. So I'll definitely be getting that one when it comes out. Brian Gilson saying, have you seen The Hitcher 2? I think I have seen The Hitcher 2, but I don't remember too much about it. I've Been Waiting for You, starring the original star from the first film. I think I've seen it many, many years ago. I don't remember too much about that. Rock and Roll Hell. Texas Chainsaw Massacre is coming out on 4K from Second Sight this year too. Good stuff. Yeah, I love the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Yeah. The first one from 1974, that's my favourite. So I wasn't too keen on the sequels, especially that dreadful Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, which again he ruined it by putting too much bloody comedy in. Big mistake. That could have been so much better, that Texas Chainsaw Massacre Part 2, but they bloody ruined it, as I say, with putting facetious elements in it and that, The action star of the day is, have you got any erotic thriller recommendations, Alan? No, haven't got any, mate. I'd imagine you'd have a few. No, haven't got any, mate. Sorry. Just like the horror movies, and that's it. The Lizard Monkey to Rock and Roll Hell. The late, great Bernard Bresslaw of the Carry On films was in the first Hammer film before Frankenstein. The Ugly Duckling, yeah, I've seen it. Basically, the Dr. Jekyll story remade. Talking about Dr. Jekyll, I was really pleased to pick up the Blu-ray of it. The Dr. Jekyll, the Frederick March one. It's one of my favourite ones, yeah. Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. So I got the Blu-ray for Christmas, so I'm looking forward to checking that out, yeah. And I've got the what's the name arrived this week as well, the Bats, the Vincent Price movie. That's just been released on Blu-ray with a plethora of special features, so I made up to get that as well. But it's great to have the Frederick March, Dr. Jekyll, and Mr. Hyde on Blu-ray. So I'm definitely looking forward to checking that out in high definition. The classics are ace. I watched Ken Russell's The Devils last month and loved it so much I ordered the BFI DVD, right? Which arrived before New Year's. Warner Brothers refused to release this uncut and stopped BFI from releasing a Blu-ray, right? I saw that many, many years ago, The Devils. I don't remember too much about. Is that the one? That's the one of Oliver Eden, isn't it? Rapscallion, do you like the classic Val Lewton movies? Yeah, I love the Cat People. Love that one. Wasn't too keen on the sequel though, but I love the Cat People. Very, very well done movie. Very well done movie. Right, guys, I think I'll go until about 10 o'clock if that's okay. It's near 9:30 now, so we're going for another half hour. So I'll try to answer as many questions as I can, in the next half hour. So, feel free to ask me anything at all, about movies, about books, anything really, so I'll be happy to answer them within reason, subject-wise, of course. True action star of the Dales. Thoughts on the Tremor films? I'm not a fan. Not a fan. Don't like them. Rock and Roll Hell. Yup, Texas Chainsaw 2 is a steamy pile. Hate that film with a passion. Yeah, it's rubbish. I've given it endless chances and I just end up hating it more. That's like me. I've give certain movies a couple of chances, and I found that the more I've watched them, the more I've bloody hated them. So yeah, I'll give an example, guys. The Thing. I mean, I think I do know a lot of people like that, but I think it's overrated. I've watched that a few times, and I still think it's not one of the best horror movies I've ever seen. I don't know what all the fuss was about, really. All right, it's got a nice set in the Arctic and that, and the monster and that, but at the end of the day, they're just stuck in the bloody Arctic all the time, aren't they? And I thought there was quite a bit of dialogue in it. It's quite dialogue heavy as well. Yeah, I'm not really a fan of that, The Thing. But yeah, the movies like that, Hereditary, there's another one I've watched again, and I still don't like it. Very, very rare. I watch a movie again and I like it on second viewing, but that, as you just said, that Texas Chainsaw 2 is a load of rubbish. It really is. Really spoilt that with all those dollops of unnecessary comedy. They could have made that a real good sequel. They did have put their mind to it. I don't know why they saw fit to turn it into a bloody comedy farce. Richard Brown saying, didn't Jerry Lewis's Nutty Professor rip off The Ugly Duckling? I think it did, actually. Yeah. Right, Brian Gilson. Have you seen Morecambe and Wise Night Train to Murder? I've seen bits of it. I haven't seen it right through. I got it for my mum for Christmas. It's really funny. It's like a Cat and the Canary. Yeah, as I say, I've seen bits of it. I haven't seen I'm not really familiar with Morecambe and Wise. He's only made a couple of films, didn't he? I'm not really familiar with their movies. The series, I watch the series mostly, but I'll have to check that out. Yeah, all the other few movies, what they made. True action star of the day. Seeing Ken Russell's Woman in Love, amazing film. Didn't that have Oliver Reed in as well? I've got his biography there. I'm looking forward to reading that. Classics. Have you seen any Norman J. Warren films? I've got the box set of that, as I just said before. Yeah, I like Norman J. Warren. Terror is good fun, even if it takes quite generously from Suspiria. Yeah, I like him. Excuse me. I like Norman J. Warren. Fantastic box set, that. True action star of the Dales. Edge of Sanity was really good, Anthony Perkins. Yeah, that's a kind of a Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde story, isn't it? And the lovely lady from Dempsey and Makepeace, meow. Oh, yeah. Glynis Barber. Oh, yeah, she doesn't last long in it, does she? No, but yeah, I agree. Yeah. Sorry, you're talking about, because we were talking about, what's the name before, weren't we? Norman J. Warren, and Glynis Barber's in one of them, where she gets killed near the beginning. Yeah, we're talking about Edge of Sanity now, aren't we? Yeah, she does last right through the movie, doesn't she? Yeah, Edge of Sanity, yeah, he plays like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde character. It's a while since I watched it. Yeah, so, I like that movie, Edge of Sanity. He does a good job, Perkins, playing that role. Quite like Perkins in Crimes of Passion. That's an amazing film. Yeah, I have seen that. I'm not a fan of that movie, unfortunately. The Lizard Monkey. What were your favourite horror books you read as a kid? I always borrowed the Hamlin Book of Horror from the local library. My favourite horror books as a kid were the Pan Book of Horror Stories. Absolutely loved them. And the Fontana Books of Horror Stories, and the Fontana Book of Great Ghost Stories. They were all my reading staple as a kid. I've still got some of the volumes now. I've managed to get some off eBay and a couple of other dealers, and it's great to have them in my collection again, and relive those days of renting them from me, borrowing from my library and that, and buying them from Smiths and that. They're very, very hard to get now. Especially the I believe the very last volume of the Pan Book of Horror Stories is very, very hard to get and quite valuable by all accounts. So, I love those books. Yeah. Yeah, the Pan Book of Horror Stories, Fontana Book of Horror Stories, you know, loved all them. You know, always loved a good ghost story, good horror story, and they were my main staple, you know, as a youngster. Those volumes, some cracking stories in them. True action star of the day. Peggy Sue Got Married. Now that's a classic song and film. Do you know what? I don't think I've seen that right through. Peggy Sue Got Married. I've seen bits of it. I don't think I've seen it right through. No, I've seen the Buddy Holly story. That was good. Right, Richard Brown saying Daniel Farson wrote the Hamlin Book of Horror. He was related to Bram Stoker. Oh yeah, I've seen that Hamlin Book of Horror. Yeah, I never actually picked that up, you know, but yeah, I've heard good things about that. Yeah, the Hamlin Book of Horror. I didn't know that he was related to Bram Stoker. You learn something new every day, don't you? The true action star of the day is, did I hear you're a writer? Yeah, I'm a writer, yeah. I've been writing since, I've been writing virtually since I was in my late teens, but started to publish my books around about 2013 on Amazon. I publish true ghost stories and horror, you know, horror fiction. I've got 2 books out with me horror stories in. Volume 1 and 2, and I've wrote a lot of ghost stories about UFOs and that. So if you look on my website, www.alantoner.com, you'll see all my titles there. I've got them all there, and I've got an Amazon author page as well. So just type in Alan Toner on Amazon, all my books will come up, yeah. I'm just working on one at the moment, actually, a horror movie quiz book, which I hope to publish over the next month or so. So watch out for that one if you're into your reading. Yeah, I love writing stories. It's a big ambition of mine to write a novel, a full-length horror novel one day. I've got a couple of ideas, you know, whirling around in my brain and that, for possible plot scenarios, but nothing really solid yet. I love writing, reading and that, you know. So, I'm enjoying me. What's the name as a writer? Me pursuits, you know, writing fiction and that. Good pastime. True action star of the day is, do you write stories? Oh yeah, horror stories mostly, ghost stories, yeah. True paranormal. I research ghost stories, haunted buildings and that, you know, all over the world. As I say, horror fiction. I like dreaming up my own horror stories and that. Horror novella. I wrote one full of horror Christmas stories, Halloween horror stories. They're all on the Amazon author page. If you just type Alan Toner on the page, you'll see all my books, yeah. Rapscallion, a film I really liked was Eyes Without a Face. Have you seen it? No, I want to check that one out. I've heard a lot of good things about that one, Eyes Without a Face. I'll definitely have to check that out. It's a foreign movie, isn't it? Yeah, I'll definitely have to check that one out. Brian Gilson, I enjoyed your review of the film Pieces. It sounds good. Yeah, love Pieces. Linda Day George is in that one. What film would you say was the most gory, Pieces or Terrifier? Good question. Well, in regards to Pieces, was pretty gory. You know, it was very, very gory, as was Terrifier. Nothing really much to choose, really, between the two. Yeah, I thought Terrifier was a bit drawn out, though. I think they could have shortened that. You know, it was a bit padded out, especially that awful ending. I did not like that ending at all. I thought it was corny, you know. So, there's not really to choose between the two. But that Terrifier has got one particularly horrible scene, I must say, you know, where he comes back and basically finishes the job in the most horrendous way imaginable. But, both of them are very, very gory, got very, very gory stories. The action star of the day is The Mutilator is getting a sequel, right? And Art the Clown appears in the trailer, which is cool. Oh, didn't know that. The Lizard Monkey, you'll have plenty of ghost inspiration from ghostly places in Liverpool and Chester. Liverpool's got, it's got more than its fair share of haunted buildings, hasn't it? As has Chester. When I think of Chester, I always think about the haunted chocolate shop of this girl from the 19th century. She's supposed to throw boxes of chocolates around the shop. It's very creepy. But yeah, Liverpool's got loads of haunted buildings. My mum has 2 of your books, True Ghost Stories and 100 Ghost Stories. She really loves them. Oh, I appreciate that. Yeah, thanks very much. Yeah, it's nice to know me work's getting appreciated, you know, by me readers and that. Yeah, and I put a lot of research into those books, you know, really researched them thoroughly. So I'm glad your mum, you know, likes them. True action star of the day. Oh, wow. I published. We'll have to check out your stuff, right? The classics are his thoughts on trauma films. They're okay. The Toxic Avenger springs to mind. I'm not really following much trauma. They're a bit way out as movies, aren't they? Yeah, the Toxic Avengers are all right, but I can't say there's any more of this that I'm a great fan of. No. Toxic Avengers are, I say, pretty funny. Richard Brown, isn't York supposed to be the most haunted place in Britain? Well, they do say it is, don't they? Although there's a lot of haunted places in Britain, indeed the world. You know, America's got a lot of haunted buildings, hasn't it? You know, but yeah, they do say about York being quite haunted. Used to watch those Richard Felix videos where he went all, you know, the guy used to be in Most Haunted. Richard Felix used to go all around the country, you know, to haunted places and that. So we used to watch his videos, and I got one or two of his books as well. Yeah, the guy who was on Most Haunted, expert. He knows ghost stories, true ghost stories inside out. Very, very good author and presenter. True action star of the day is asking me, do you think films have too much sex and swearing in them now? Too much flesh or bad language? I've said this before, there's a lot of unnecessary bad language in a lot of movies of today. All right, you don't have to have every other word in a sentence, F this, F that, do you? You know, you can understand it when they've stubbed their toe or something, or they get into a pretty hair-raising, you know, situation with a monster and that, you know, they hurt themselves in any way, you know, they're liable to let slip an F word. But, you know, when it's used in ordinary conversation, I think it's unnecessary. You know, being honest with you, and there is a lot of there is too much sex now in a lot of these movies. You know, they can cuss it out and that. You know, it spoils the story. Actually, most of the time, it doesn't add anything to the story. They just put it in for the sake of showing a bit of nudity, and they just come out with F words and that, just for the sake of doing it. You know, there's no need for it. And a lot of people agree with me on this. You know, they say like, yeah, you're right. You know, there's too much swearing now in a lot of these horror movies, and indeed a lot of movies. There's too much F in this, F in that. You know, there's no need for it. You know, I think that's just a cheap way. That if they can't find a sort of like a good dialogue, they just throw an F word in. So I think they're showing their signs of being a bit amateurish. Can't really write a good script without using it. That's my opinion anyway. They can't write good dialogue without throwing in an expletive. Yeah, there's no need for it. No need for it at all. The Hammer films, they never come out with bad language. The classics are there's a 1974 film called Impulse where William Shatner plays a con man and serial killer, and there's a scene where he farts loudly and the director left us in. Oh, I don't know about that. Impulse, William Shatner plays a con man and serial killer, and he lets rip. Didn't know about that one. The Lizard Monkey, actors who should have been in horror films but never were, is a good topic. The late, great Alan Rickman was really only in Sweeney Todd, but should have been in more, right? Yeah, we've got about 20 minutes to go, guys. So as I say, you know, if you want to ask me as many questions as you like, I'll try to answer them as quickly as I can, because I'm going off at 10 o'clock tonight. So, yeah. Brian Gilson, have you seen the film The Banishing? It's based on the Borley Rectory. There is also another film starring Colin Baker. I haven't seen The Banishing, although I am familiar with the story of Borley Rectory. I've got the encyclopedia on Borley Rectory, the Borley Rectory Companion, absolutely packed with every aspect of the story you could possibly want. You know, it was supposed to be the most haunted building, wasn't it, in Britain? Borley Rectory. Yeah, Harry Price, the famous ghost hunter, he made his name there, didn't he? Investigating that case, Borley Rectory. But no, I haven't seen that film. True action star of the day. Yeah, lack of vocabulary is the excuse for more swearing. Exactly, yeah. And that goes for the sex as well. They throw a sex scene in to pad out the plot, you know, and most of the time, guys, it doesn't work. It detracts from the movie, in my opinion. You know, I mean, if you can't write a good story without throwing in bed, you know, throwing scenes of carnality in all the time, why bother? That's my opinion anyway. Edward, evening, Alan. What's your thoughts on It Follows? I didn't like that one, Edward. Yeah, I didn't like it. I watched that a couple of times to see if I could get into it, but no, not a fan. Not a fan at all. Richard Brown, I can't remember the last film I saw with sex in it. I think they have less sex in now, but are far more gory than they used to be. Oh yeah, a lot of films still, I think, still have a lot of sex in them, you know, but I suppose it depends on the movies and that, you know, the genre and that, you know. It's filtered, I think it's filtered into everything now. Every genre, you know, bad language and sex. True action star of the Dales. I do think the older films have more sex in them, and the stuff they got away with is quite shocking. True action star of the Dales. Thoughts on the woke generations? I don't know. Not familiar with them at all. I couldn't tell you the first thing about woke generation for films. Richard Brown, It Follows was an amazing film. Yeah, I know the movie does have its fans, but I'm not one of them, I'm afraid. I didn't enjoy that movie at all. Brian Gilson, what's your thoughts on the film Ghost Stories? Are you talking about the anthology, the British anthology movie that was made a couple of years ago? It's all right. If that's the one you mean, it's all right. It's not a great horror anthology. I thought the stories were pretty weak. I've actually got the Blu-ray of that in my collection, but yeah, I thought the stories were a little bit of anticlimactic, to be honest with you. Not as good as the Amicus anthology movies, in my opinion. The classics are ace. Are there any well-renowned horror films that you wouldn't consider horror? I have a couple. Freaks, that's a good one, that. 1932, which I consider more of a drama, and Carrie, 1976, which I think is more of a tragedy. Are there any well-renowned horror films that you wouldn't consider horror? Yeah, they're trying to think now. Any well-renowned horror films that you wouldn't consider horror? That's a difficult question, that. Can't think of any at the moment. True action star of the Dales. It's more boobs than anything you see now. I haven't seen a lady genitalia in years on screen. You occasionally see a man's part, but again, not very common. True action star of the Dales. Sorry for bringing this up, Alan, but it's interesting to see what people think about sex these days in films. Yeah, I understand, mate. Richard Brown. Ghost Stories was a great film, right? Remind me of Miss M.R. James and Algernon Blackwood and Ramsey Campbell. Yeah, I suppose it was very much along those lines, wasn't it? The atmosphere and that. Yeah. I tell you, one movie, guys, I was disappointed in. It was not really while on the subject of movies with ghost stories in the title and what have you. The Peter Straub, the Peter Straub novel, Ghost Story, they made a movie of it, didn't they, with Fred Astaire, Ghost Story. I didn't like that. And that's another one again. I've watched it a couple of times and I can't get into it. I thought it was very, very slow. I didn't like the flashbacks. I didn't like the novel either. I got bored with it. Yeah, Ghost Story. Have any of you guys seen that? What did you think of it? But I didn't like it. I hated it. So if you've got any of you guys on any films lined up to watch over the weekend, yeah, please feel free to voice them. Yeah, I'd be very interested. The classics are ace. Never wrote a script or book or anything before, but after watching Don't Open Till Christmas recently, I was thinking of writing a screenplay for a remake. It's a flawed film that still has potential. I like Don't Open Till Christmas. Yeah. Yeah, I thought it was very good. Yeah, but yeah, I'd take your point about writing a screenplay. Yeah, that's something I'd like to do as well. I'd like to write a little horror movie screenplay and try and get it accepted and that. So that's another ambition alongside writing the horror novel, writing a horror screenplay. Just imagine that, writing characters and that, and then seeing them brought to life on the big screen. Wow, that must be a thrill. You know, you're like Stephen King, or because it's happened to him numerous times, hasn't he? He's a multi-millionaire. You know, all those stories he's written, you know, and been made into TV series or movies. Fantastic achievement, that, when you think about it. Brian Gilson, is Ghost Story the one with Fred Astaire? Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, didn't like it at all. That was one of the major disappointments in all my years of watching horror movies. Ghost Story is one of the major disappointments. You know, watching the movie after reading the novel and then watching the movie. Both disappointments, actually, the book and the film. Awful stories, slow and boring. True action star of the day. A good British film is Beast. I enjoyed that on Film 4. I think I've seen that one, Beast. Yeah. From what I can remember, it's pretty good. Excuse me. Ghost Story was too reliant on the one repeated shock view of the monster. Yeah, wasn't much cop, that movie, as I say. The Lizard Monkey, new movie Megan about a girl who was given a robot friend as a new Blumhouse film. I am looking forward to. Gives Omen and Child's Play vibes. I've seen that. Yeah, looks okay, that Megan. Yeah. Richard Brown, have you seen Mill of the Stone Women? No, I haven't. I just got the Arrow Blu-ray and I'll be watching that next. I'll have to check that out, Mill of the Stone Women. Yeah, I haven't seen it. Yeah, so yeah, I'll definitely have to check that one out. Is Child's Play still a very taboo film in Liverpool, given its alleged connection to a crime? I've no idea. I know it did cause a bit of controversy, but yeah, I don't know, mate. Brian Gilson, I think you would be a good screenwriter. Oh, thanks very much, Brian. You could bring back the Amicus and Hammer type films, which I would very much like to do. Yeah. As I say, I'd love to write a horror screenplay and, you know, see my characters brought to life on the big screen. Yeah. So, yeah. Excuse me, guys. I just in my laptop. Yeah. So, Pete says, I got Mill of the Stone Women delivered today too, Richard. Yeah, as I say, I'll have to check that movie out. It looks good. Brian Gilson saying, my mum says, do you like The Beast Must Die? It's okay. That's the one you've got to guess who the werewolf is, isn't it? Yeah, it's okay. It's not one of my favourites, but it's okay. Sorry about that, guys. I had a connection problem there. Yes, as you can see, I'm back now. But yeah, it's a bloody nuisance. I've been having a couple of problems with this, like my adapter. So I've had to order a new adapter. It's basically buggering my collection up. You can still hope you can all still see and hear me. Yeah, I'll be going off soon anyway, guys, at 10 o'clock. So just get as many questions in as you can. Yeah, I'll try to answer as many as I can. True action star of the Dales. Hope he comes back. Well, as you can see, I'm back. Don't know how long for, though. Has Alan gone to the bog? No, I'm still here. I had problems with my connection. You know, I've had this adapter. It's been a bit of a pain for the last couple of weeks. So I've had to order a new one off Amazon. Yeah, Alan is back. Yeah, I'm here. Yeah, sure, back on that. Yeah, I'm sorry about that, guys. As I say, the connection problem and that. Yeah, it's always a pain when it does that. It happened a couple of weeks ago, as I say, when I had the guests on, I had a connection problem. So let's hope it doesn't happen again. He's back. I'm back. Yeah, he's back. Back for the next 4 minutes or so, guys. So I've enjoyed it tonight. Anyway, thanks very much for turning up. And as I say, hopefully in a couple of weeks' time, I'll try and get round to having 1 or 2 more guests on, you know. So thanks for turning up, everybody. Anyway, I've really enjoyed it. Yeah, some great topics discussed tonight, as always. And nice to talk to you all on that. And as I say again, I hope 2023 turns out to be a good year for you all. So, yeah, really enjoyed it. True action star of the day is asking me when's your next stream. Well, hopefully next Thursday, same time, same place, and hopefully I should have a new adapter by then. I've ordered one off Amazon, so it should come tomorrow. So hopefully there shouldn't be any more technical problems. Richard Brown, your computer isn't the one in War Games as well. No, not me. It's not my computer. It's the bloody AC adapter what's causing me the problem. It even causes problems when I'm not live. So I've had to order replacements off Amazon. You got to be careful when you buy these things. You know, you got to be exactly. Well, when I first bought it, like it said, like it's a universal one, and from what I read, it was suitable for my laptop. But the more I've used it, the more I've found otherwise. So that's why I've ordered a new one. Brian Gilson, when are you going to do a paranormal stream? Well, hopefully soon. Yeah, because it's an endless subject to talk about, isn't it? The paranormal. So yeah, pretty soon. True action for the Dales. Hope your wife is well. I'm not married, mate. I'm young, free and single. But let's not get personal. I'm up at Liverpool soon, so I'd love to meet up with you. I could personally hand you that copy of Necromantic 2. Oh, yeah, cheers, mate. Yeah, we'll sort something out, yeah, but in a week or two's time. Yeah, let me know anyway. And yeah, we'll sort something out. Yeah, I'd like to check that out, that Necromantic. Yeah, so thanks very much, mate. Yeah, just drop us a line anyway to let me know when you're available. Yeah, cheers, mate. Fastbeard Brothers, when are you going to do another well, as I said before, soon. Pete saying, take care, Alan. Great stream. Looking forward to the next one. Oh, thanks very much, Pete. Yeah. Thanks for turning up. And as I say, I enjoyed being a guest again on your channel last night. Have a nice weekend. And if you do any Blu-ray hunting or DVD hunting, I hope you manage to get some bargains. Yeah. Thanks very much, very much, Pete. Yeah. Nice talking to you again. Bye for now. Yeah, so as I say, guys, I'll be going off in a couple of minutes. So yeah, I've enjoyed it. Like, you know, it's good to be back after a couple of weeks absence and that. So yeah, so all going well. I'll be back again next Thursday with another live, same time, same place, to answer Sam's question. Next Thursday. I should have my adapter by then, so hopefully, fingers crossed, there shouldn't be any more connection, intermittent connection problems. The classic art ACS, very enjoyable stream, Alan. I assume you do every Thursday. Most Thursdays, yeah. most Thursdays at 8 o'clock. Yeah. If something turns up, obviously, I'll try and let people know on Facebook that I won't be on. But otherwise, if I don't put anything up, I'm going to be on. So yeah. Sammy Adams, all the best for the new year, and I'm looking forward to loads more of the show. Oh, thanks very much, Sammy. Yeah, cheers. Yeah, nice talking to you. Yeah, and I hope 2023 proves to be a good one. Proves to be a good one for you. Sam KA. No, 2 minutes to go, guys. So I'll try and get in as many comments as I can. So try and answer as many questions, that you might want to hit me with. Yeah, so as I say, getting back one last word on this box set, as I say, if you just want to check it out, guys, I'm not trying to put you off. You might like these kind of sort of like way out exploitation movies, but not for me, unfortunately. Yeah, huge disappointment. So as I say, it's on eBay now, so let's hope I can get most of my money back, fingers crossed. The Lizard Monkey, the trailer for Renfield is now on YouTube, starring Nick Cage as Dracula, right? Rock and roll hell, sweet dreams, mate. Oh, same to you, mate. Yeah, thanks for turning up. Nice talking to you again. Sam K.A., all the best, Alan. Speak soon. Keep up the good work. Oh, thanks very much, Sam. Yeah, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it tonight. Yeah, thanks. Fast Bear Brothers, nice, Alan. Great stream. Hope the best for you in 2023. Oh, yeah, likewise, mate. Yeah, thanks very much for turning up. I enjoyed talking to you again. Hope you have a nice weekend. Brian Gilson, I really enjoyed the stream. Oh, thanks very much, Brian. Yeah, I did too. It's great seeing you back. Take care. Have a great weekend. I will look for the Jack in the Box films. Oh, yeah, check them out on Blu-ray, Brian. They're very good watches, yeah. If you can't get them on Blu-ray, get them on DVD. But, yeah, great movies. The Lizard Monkey. Anyway, night. Don't let the sucker bite. No, I definitely won't let the sucker bite. Okay then, guys, I'm going to wind it up for tonight. Again, thanks very much, for turning up. I've really enjoyed chatting to you all again. And I'm sorry about the temporary interruption outside with the idiots on the motorbike. But yeah, I've really enjoyed it. Some great subjects broached. And so as I say, if any of you go Blu-ray hunting or DVD hunting at the weekend, I hope you manage to pick up some bargains. I'll be over in Liverpool again on Thursday. And see if there's any bargains over there. Yeah. Well, I'll say I've got to close now then, guys. So happy New Year again, and all going well. I shall be back again next Thursday night, same time, same place, with another live stream. Bye for now. Have a nice weekend, everybody.